while we are dealing with that, I cordially invite everyone, if there is any question or statements or any comments, please come up with. The question goes as follows: what is the best antidote for the apprehension? Apprehension. So someone has to explain the term apprehension. What is the meaning of apprehension? Apprehend?
It come from England.
Yes, but maybe the questioner would be best if the questioner explained. Or the word means being nervous. Anxiety.
Apprehension? Somewhat similar to anxiety. You get, say if you are late for something, you get apprehensive.
The apprehend is also to listen.
Sorry?
To apprehend is also to listen.
The word was apprehensive.
Apprehension.
Yes.
In this context, it's not the same.
So that's why for me, apprehension is the first impression. Like when you are giving the attention, you apprehend it, and then reification happens.
There are two different meanings. In the vocabulary, you will find the first one, apprehend or apprehension, as what you said, and then list of different meanings, and then you find apprehension as anxiety.
That is the practical reading. So that is the question goes: what is the best antidote for anxiety?
I think so.
So then if you can keep the mind here and now, no chance to have anxiety. The short and sweet present moment cannot entertain any anxiety or any stress. So therefore everyone has this ability, or otherwise one can try, as far as the mind is here and now, there is no anxiety. For example, the Buddha says if you take a needle and keep it upright and pour any amount of sand, nothing will depend on the tip of it. Likewise, if the mind is upright, anything you put, nothing remains. Everything drops. But if the needle is flat, then the thing will cover it off and it will overcome. But as far as the needle is upright, the mindfulness is something that mind is upright. But the problem, the second question may come is that how to keep the mindfulness continuous. So keep the mind...
There's another question. When I go into the future, or not only me, but as a principle, going into the future and go to the past, then it gets disturbed. Anxiety is there and all. When you are in the present, how come that the present moment does not allow anxiety to take place?
So before going into that, I would say, Uddacha Kukkucha is the one kind of a
restlessness. Uddacha Kukkucha means restless and over anxiety of mind.
Restlessness and worry. I would like to know, your apprehension is related to the future planning or past regret?
Future planning.
This is usually, that clarification you have to make. The apprehension happens regarding the future planning. But whenever your mind is going backward, general thing is, it is end up with this disappointment. Feeling that you have done something wrong. And to make the point more clear, the younger generation still have hope regarding their life. The most of the time dreaming in future. They end up with anxiety. Those who are passing 60 and 70 always brooding about the past and thinking about I have done wrong and this is wrong and that is wrong, end up with that regret. So anxiety is something for future planning. So if you are still developing anxiety and or the worries about the future, for the young, the older generation, I think it is good. They are living. They are not regretting. So in that sense, anxiety is a titillation. Anxiety is a new bubble, new blips or blinks. But the anxiety is presently is for the younger generation. Still they are planning for their life, and they think being in the present moment is a wastage of time. Better thing is to do planning future. And ultimately what they do is they are losing the both. They are losing the present moment as well as the future. Future is just a dream. So that is why the Buddha says that it is easy someone to introduce the meaning of mindfulness, and in the sense practically one can say it is easy to demonstrate as to how to keep the mind here and now for few seconds or few split seconds or thought moments, but it's a matter, once you accept it, how to maintain it for a duration of time. That is, each and everyone has to think about their own way. But the introduction is easy to keep the mind here and now. And that demonstrates, as far as mind is here and now, there is no room for anxiety. There is no room for, at least even for the going future, going to the backward and regret, and future and anxiety. In Pali it is called Atitana Dhavanam Chittam Vikkopana Patitam Samadhisa Paripanto Anagata Patikankanam Chittam Vikampitam Samadhisa Paripanto. As far as the mind is associated in the past, the general precipitation is the regret, and it is killing your concentration. The general situation regarding the future planning is the excitement and the worries, and that is also destroying your concentration. If the concentration happens, of course, it is happening here and now, and that is also not by a few thought moments of mindfulness. It's a continuity of mindfulness is the proximate factor for the concentration to arrive. Whenever the concentration happens, instead of anxiety or the regret, mind feel kind of a contentment, mind feel kind of a satisfaction or saturation that is derived out of immaterial things, not out of the visual objects or sounds or smells or taste or any luxuries. It is deriving out of immaterial things. That is possible only for human beings. The other materialistic kind of thing or pleasure, satisfaction, so to say, is common with the other animals and all the kind of thing, but the human mind has a special window opening, whereby as far as it is keeping here and now, appreciating the very mindfulness, help support someone to maintain that trend for a number of thought moments consecutively, and that make a kind of a acceleration, a gathering of the momentum, and that is the good way of defining the concentration. So concentration is the permanent kind of answer for this anxiety, but to test it, even the mindfulness can give a substantial answer for this anxiety. So therefore, the stress reduction program, but this is now even the US government has accepted it. Stress reduction program is known as the mindfulness-based stress reduction program. We have that Lota that I introduced. He is the person conducting this in Berlin, and he has been a friend of mine, and we are practicing in Nissarana also. Now what he do is
in Burma. No.
We were together in Burma. Now he is a professional person, mindfulness-based MBS stress reduction SR, MBSR. So that is the best person in the world for the moment for that is John Kabat-Zinn, and he is the person founded this mindfulness-based stress reduction program, and they are now going to introduce this into the formal curriculum or syllabus in the schools, because everyone is, especially the younger generation, is so much taxed with this stress and the anxiety. And therefore, John Kabat-Zinn, after giving a introductory talk or scientific background for the mindfulness in the conference together with His Holiness Dalai Lama, is asking, Bhante, I have explained what we see in the laboratories and the tests. My question is the mindfulness Buddhist? Dalai Lama says, no, it is humanistic. Right. Only characteristic feature for the human, or the intrinsic, one of the intrinsic characters of the mind, human mind is, it can be mindful. So therefore the Buddha says, mind your business. Be mindful.
What is the name of this man who...
John Kabat-Zinn.
Is he a Goenka person or?
No, he's an American, and he has done Vipassana meditation. He never called it as any religion, but he has written very nice book, Full Catastrophic Living, and yet another book, I don't know whether he's written Going to Pieces Without Falling Apart. And,
nice,
and sometimes he says, wherever you go, there you are. And that kind of thing, one of my friends introduced me, and I have never seen the person, but I used to read books, but there's a complaint telling he is selling Buddhism. Because for the stress reduction program you have to pay. So I asked Lota, what is your opinion? He says, yes, Bhante, it is a contract. 8-week contract, you have to come and pay and take it, and then he will conduct that each hour they have to sit, not telling it's a meditation. You just sit and keep in the mind in the present moment, and one day he take everyone and give a one-day course, still not telling it is Buddhist,
that's good.
And giving the distance, giving the idea about mindfulness.
When Buddha was instructing, did he say this is Buddhist also?
You have to ask on the Buddha. So I think here
it's called Dhamma, isn't it?
Huh?
It's called Dhamma.
Dhamma, no? Because that man came to get advice from Buddha that his teacher is good. Then Buddha convinced him. But Buddha still said, no, go to your teacher. Look after him.
Yeah, that not to forego your old friends.
Yeah.
Keep him as one of your friends. And don't find any fault with him, because he is the one who gave you nourishment up to now, and then go further together with the new instructions. Likewise, don't make any turmoil, social turmoil, no any secular kind of friction made. See, mindfulness is such a thing, whether you are a male or female, whether you are ordained or not, whether you are east or west, whether you, whatever may be, it's a matter of understanding, and easily you can test it. And while testing, it is proving again and again and again, and you will ask a question yourself, what is lacking for me to be mindful? Nothing. Everything is provided. But we find, being a human, but our crooked mind is finding 1,001 reasons not to be mindful. If you ask why you are not being mindful, you will say, my child is very young and this and that. So these are the cunning mind. The Buddha says, once you come up to a certain maturity, anything you can take as a subject matter. You can take as an object of meditation. All these troubles, at last, even this stress or this the frustration itself will be a subject matter for you to ponder in. That is the beginning of it. That's the middle of it, that's the end of it. And there you find it is just a volatile thing. It is just like a cloud.
So this stress is a synthetic word, in 1950s and 60s, even up to the middle of 70, 72, 73, nobody used that word stress. They said, my mother is sick. They said, I can't get through my exam. Oh, I can't finish my exam. They said a particular reason. It's coming from America. Now they put mother, your exam, your inabilities all together and put it as stress. And a lot of people, when I told uncle, he said, no, this is your honey. If you can't do the exam, there's no stress, you can't do the exam. That's the way he tackled it. Now it's coming from America, everything is stress, and then psychiatry. They
say earlier it as a syndrome. Now they have recently put it as a disease.
Yeah.
Earlier it called as a syndrome. This syndrome that's in now psychiatric, there's a huge top class psychiatrist, they put together and coin some words. And now they are considered as a disease. C become D. And ultimately become a pharmaceutical business.
Yeah, that's right.
Stress related illness.
Yeah, and then for the children in America, I don't know, any Americans here? It says that when the children is giving the lessons, there are 9 features they have recognized something like he is just moving here and there and listening. Or otherwise looking at outside without looking at the teacher. Or titillating other person. Or wagging leg or something like that. There are 9 characters. If a child going to show 6 out of 9 is recognized black mark. And then he has to take medicine from them. There's a kind of a medicine, Ritalin or something like that. And then the teacher says, in my class, there are 4 or 5 that kind of children. Whenever the number goes beyond 10%, teacher gets a special payment, because class is difficult for her. So therefore, teacher is always asking to put anyone into that list. Not only that, it says, I don't know, you can check it better than me. And then parents, if the parents come and protest, parents has to go on the psychiatrist.
Parent also.
Parent also.
So it's a big business.
This is the way it is happening. So therefore, ultimately what happens is, after a certain extent, after time of getting this medicine, they become crazy. The children mind. And that is why the killing and everything is happening. So therefore now, the people, American people, they just from the cradle to the cemetery, everything is controlled by the doctors or any pharmaceutical people or psychiatrists. So therefore, if you're going to go against the grain, you are in trouble. You can't get a medical certificate. You can't get any kind of thing because everything is like that. And one particular person is asking, when his child has that kind of thing, the psychiatrist has mentioned, he has to take this drug. But he has been a pharmaceutical industry, he says, I am not happy to give this medicine. He says, if someone is not going to take this vaccine, I am not going to treat that child. Every child has to go under this vaccine. He knows the after effect of that vaccine. He said, how the hell such a doctor can interpret such a thing for the children? And please, Americans, please get up. See what is happening. So therefore this
is there a government place where they can go and at least appeal and say that we are going to, these psychiatrists are making...
they have their federation, their federal this thing for the drugs and kind of thing. You can go and ask how they streamline a drug before going to the pharmacy and kind of thing. So it is not individual business now. It is something, epidemic situation, and even organization can't work against that. But anyway, you can be mindful and forget about everything, at least up to oneself. And you can tell others, whatever may be the international level happen, the mindfulness, to be mindfulness, no one can withdraw that, no one can disturb it, even the government can't disturb. If you wish to be mindful, you can be mindful. There is no power in the world, someone preventing from being mindful.
Yeah, but they can kill the teachers who are talking about mindfulness. Because if I am a pharmaceutical, I'll say who's going to damage my business, I'll get rid of them.
So you will be in the list.
What I say is, yeah, but you see...
Be careful.
What about you?
When we are talking openly like this, that we have to be careful. We have to talk in our inner group in order to take this in the constructive way, put it to our benefit, rather than dealing with big people. But anyway, this is the way it was in the world throughout. We have always our defilements, we have always our obsessions, so therefore we must not think them as simple and single. They are multivarious, multinational, vast network. But even then, the John Kabat-Zinn and others says, it is not, the mindfulness is not anyone's authority. No one can prevent from you being mindful, therefore it's a birthright. Everyone's birthright, if you are using it, you are the person taking well-being of yourself. You can't complain others. But if you are not doing it, only we have to say sorry.
Yeah, but the thing is, people have little time to listen to good news. That's the thing, they are all burdened with television.
But they have enough time to listen bad news.
Yes, they have.
So it is up to them.
Venerable Sir, you said the object of mindfulness depends on the individual.
Object of mindfulness?
Yes. So you said to be mindful all the time.
Yes.
And
the meditative object. So I think that when the person like John Kabat-Zinn, when he is introducing, he just come out and say, you just sit comfortably, just like in this audience, you sit comfortably and make yourself balance and relax and be aware of your sitting. Or if the breath comes, be aware. Whatever may be coming into your mind is the object of your meditation. It is coming naturally. So exactly the way the Buddha explained, when everything is calmed down and the mind becomes introvert, whatever comes, your pain or consistent noise or your thinking or breath.
That English word dwelling, is it correct?
Yeah. The being or dwelling. Dwelling on the present moment.
Yeah. For violent. But if the Buddha says dwelling is correct, I want to know whether the Buddha says...
That is, you have to understand the equivalent Pali term. The dwelling,
Viharati.
That is the equivalent. Yes, you have.
Yeah, I have a question towards schizophrenic people, like who have the disease. Because I remember a few years ago when I was still in school, we had a psychology class where a schizophrenic person visited, and she talked about her experience, and she said that when she looks into the mirror, that she could feel that this body she's looking at is not hers, and that basically whatever is inside her is not connected to the body that she's in, as if she's like in a different corpse. So I felt that this person basically has lost one defilement in that sense, but because she didn't have the right view, or because she didn't have some attitude, that she lost her mind because of that. So is that possible that schizophrenic people...
You can put that into the situation where completely person taken full alcohol or drugs. They also can go up to that level. They can see their body completely different, their action and everything, they don't take care, or physically or chemically. So, that is why I told that the Godwin, maybe some people you know about him, Godwin is a vegetable kind of a person, very passive and kind of, but he has good experience, he has taken drugs for experimental basis. Then he says, why should we meditate, go for a trip for drugs, and exactly you go to the same place. You get a distance and happy, ecstasy.
Yeah, but then you're still attached to you. I mean, you don't think that...
That is the point. He says, so next day if you wish to go there, that dose is not enough. You have to go for the higher dose, and therefore ultimately you make a brain damage. But in the meditation, you get free of charge.
So
but in the meditation, you do it in a gradual basis. From your very secular conscious mind, you slowly develop the mindfulness, develop the concentration, and go there. Whenever it becomes awful or overwhelming, you can come back. And next day you can go a little further and come back. Therefore, things happen in the gradual basis. So it becomes a nutriment. If it's a sudden shock, that is we call schizophrenia. They can't bear it up because it is happening not due to your own meditation. It is something happening. In Sri Lanka we call possessed by a spirit and kind of thing. So psychiatric may be different interpretation. So this is, everyone have a little bit of that. Everyone, but we don't know it's an opening. We think it is something, a crack in our thing. We are going to polish it off and wrap it up. But the Buddha says that, one example the Buddha says, that if you take a vessel made out of metal, and if you, we say it's a big pot, before you are going to purchase it, you knock it and see, if it is intact, it has a very good sound. If you say there's a crack, then you knock it, the sound is not so good. So therefore, before taking the buying it, usually they do it, specifically our bowls, what the monks are using, they take it to the bowl in the hand, and just tap it, and by noise you can see whether there is a crack or not. If it is fully intact, it has a resonant, the crack, not the cracking. But if it is a break or if it is a twisting, it has. So therefore the Buddha says, person with full-fledged ego is like a full-fledged vessel. When you tap it, it will get agitated and fighting and all the kind of thing happen. Person with the meditation is with the crack. Even if you tap it, it won't have no resonance, it don't care. So therefore you have to train yourself as a crack vessel. A crack. So therefore, those who do not know, they call these a crack. So he has to go to psychiatrist. But the Buddha says, the crack is a good thing. So therefore, Mark Epstein has written the book, Psychotherapy Without the Self. This is the point he is stressing. Whenever we understand our real nature, we feel the crack. And then we go to a psychiatrist, says, please weld it, brush it, and make it in the complete vessel. So we come back and fight with the husband and the wife, and anyone can't talk with because it is arrogance.
Without the crack, you can't see the light anyway.
Yeah. So crack has a kind of a healing effect. But the Western psychology coming from this egoistic idea, they never appreciate it. But Mark Epstein, just like John Kabat-Zinn, he has started with mindfulness, and then he has done this Western psychology, and he has written the book that how to treat the patient with the idea of non-self. In the front page, or in the title page, not the title page, the front page, it says the empty chair and the empty bed. Empty bed is for the patient, empty chair is for the psychiatrist. No, both are missing. And this is how the psychiatry happens. But I would like to, after telling these things, I would like to bring that one particular point that where Sigmund Freud has mentioned, and it has been mentioned in another book when I am reading. I say Sigmund Freud, when he is talking about this free counseling, free association, the counseling, he has told if he is the patient coming to me, and he has to give a very comfortable sitting or lying down, and you also take a comfortable seat and let him talk. Not in the first day, second day, third day. Ultimately he has to develop a kind of a confidence upon me. Even if he is going to tell deep personal thing, I will not divulge. I mean, it's a professional, you have to sign. So you have to behave in such a way, next day he will go little deeper, and the next day another deeper, and when that happens, he has mentioned, you must listen to what he is telling just like a dumb person. You must not respond. Yes, it is good, or it is bad. No. You must show that you are fully alert, but you are listening as a dumb person. And he has written in 1913 or 1919, but all his disciples denied, telling it is completely abnormal. How can you listen carefully or vigilantly as a dumb person? But later, the Amit Goswami or something, other people, they heard Buddha has mentioned, you must train yourself, even though you have ears, you must listen like a dumb person. Coining it, he sees it's a spark of the Sigmund Freud, he has seen it. But the world never recognized it. But now, after so much of years, they find when you are listening to someone, you must not disturb his free flow. And you also must go to the deepest your concentration, then mind to mind, the telepathy happens. You are not treating him, that you are just listening, and you understand this is what the crux of it. And then you can give. But if you are going to the rational mind, your ego, your conceit, your desire for money is adulterating. So if you can listen without any ego, without any conceit, without any gain, that is what we call the listening without ego. And then you can just this ego and say, you are schizophrenic or whatever, there is a reason to be glad under that circumstances also. That is what it says that psychotherapy without the self. It's a completely revolutionary from the getting the light from the Eastern listing and put into the Western formula, and then you can use it in a completely revolutionary way. So now these ideas are really merging each other, the West and the East. So we are in a very, we are in a good chance, with good opportunity. The dialogues are going on now. But only my humble request is, be mindful and read them, and then you will understand how they are merging each other. But the Buddha has mentioned 2,600 years. Now they find that is no any after effects, no any side effects. Exactly you can put into the recent most discoveries in psychotherapy as well as in the medical science. So therefore you have to be in the state of art. You have to be with the mindfulness, and when you read it, there's something happening in this present age, even though the stressfulness is there, even the how do you call, Surakam, exploitation, and the environmental pollution, everything is there. But if you are sharp, if you are mindful, you can still make use them as the examples to see the bad consequences. So therefore, in present day, is very transitional, very, very critical.
The point what she said was, even in the meditation, not anybody I have seen like a rope, sura, like silk coming and rubbing me. I have seen that. Then I have seen normal people, when I look, they are falling into pieces, like teeth is falling, and I completely stopped on my own, because I was
something wrong.
Something wrong. So I was hallucinating, because this is because of Pilikul Bhavana and all that, So that is also wrong, no?
So that is why that it has, for the Sappurisa, for the noble person, it is a good omen. For the untrained mind and shaky mind and agitated mind, it's a bad.
No, and I was shaky at that time.
So Asappurisa.
But I did it. I did it because of the advice given by the monks.
That is what the progress means. That one day you exactly the same thing you deny. And now you come to a maturity, understand it is a mistake. Instead, now you can understand there's a kind of a reason to be glad, even that. So that change is a revolutionary. It is not a quantifiable. It's a really valuable. It can happen at any time for any person. That we can't predict for that good master can do for everyone. No, there's no such a thing. Even a simple glimpse, simple kind of thing, one may get the blink.
So actually you must have a good advisor. No?
So two things. The Buddha says you must listen first. Second thing, otherwise you have to have a radical reflection with him. Ajjatam Jyotimasikaro and Paratosha Goso. The listening to the noble friends, or I would call Dhamma, in the Buddhist context. And internally you have the good reflection, and not accepting everything what they are telling, and whatever you feel like good to test, put it to test, then you do it, and slowly you gain the ground.
It's coming from Satipatthana, this the 9 this thing, and you do it, and suddenly you see a man, it's a normal man, then he's falling into pieces,
That is why John Kapasi says, breaking apart without falling apart. Breaking into pieces without falling apart. That means you see the Ghana Sanya as a Rasi Sanya. Ghana Sanya means everything with agglomeration you feel as a being, male, female. Now you see it's an agglomeration of Pataviyapo Tejo. This can disintegrate.
We say it in English, sir. Pataviyapo Tejo means water element, earth element, and so other things not people to understand.
So that is why you are here.
Yeah. You see, what she said was when you examine, you have to know this body is made out of earth element, water element, air element, and warm earth element.
Heat, fire.
Yeah, fire element or something. So even in the meditation, you see what happens is Satipatthana is so lucrative. When you read through it, you are very convinced. So you are meditating, and then suddenly you go into the 9 cemetery, or you call it 9 cemetery. There are 9 things that when you die, your body, corpse and so on, and you meditate, and suddenly when you open your eyes, you see the man who is walking towards you is also disintegrating. And it is a mistake, no?
See? No, that is the way that it depends on your interpretation. That depends on your interpretation. And otherwise, you see man as man, you think it is the reality. When the man becomes disintegrated, you think it is illusion. And the Buddha says what you see the man as man, also an illusion. Then it is disintegration, what to talk about.
But there's a fact also, no? What you see seen is a fact. But if you would have continued, I would have gone mad.
Even now you are mad.
No.
You agree? I suppose. Everybody is mad, so there is nothing to pinpoint. You are. So we have to accept that we are in asylum. And we mad. Never mind.
No, but you see, I have seen girls, I have seen robes, I have seen disintegration. But all these things now don't come. They don't crop up.
It depends. It depends on the mental background, and accordingly the projections are changing. So the attribution you give, that is what the Sigmund Freud tried to explain, that in the dreams, everything is communicated by symbols. And that is why all the mystics in the East and now, a lot of odd the symbols are there, the devas and kind of thing. It is the way the mind is communicating, so these symbols give different meaning for different people, the same person, different meaning for different occasions. So they are very volatile things, just like a mirage.
How did Sigmund come to do? Did he meditate or how was it?
That is the one I admire because he is by contemplation.
Contemplation.
Yeah, and even the Einstein's this Sapekshitavada, the relativity and the quantum, these are kind of blinks.
What is the Sinhalese or Pali word for contemplation?
Anupassana. Passana as to vipassana, anupassana. Passana is seeing. Anupassana is contemplating the same thing again and again. Passana, anupassana. Again and again. Vipassana is a radical way, the non-traditional way.
But see, without a little bit of common sense, it's very difficult to...
That the basic common sense or the norm, it's very difficult to define. Very difficult to define. So it varies according to the individual. So this time I am happy because I can speak in English directly. Last time we had translation and so there was a two-stage.
But that psychiatric, this lobby is getting strengthened and making the mass media, where you can hypnotize people also with the television and so on, and it will slowly go into the...
now some people are really revealing it. Now people are telling people.
Don't get into it.
Don't get into that. They have seen the consequences and they feel guilt by doing these things. So few people came out and started to talk.
Because it could be an end of a nation, no?
Yeah, end of the human nation. Human as such. So misdirecting, and it has happened for years.
But the basic thing is greed, no?
Yeah, that is why we get trapped. And if you can understand the art of telling enough, you escape. Then you will not get the hooked up. If you know enough, never mind, my schizophrenic is with me, okay, never mind. Or if you have a little bit of oddities in my psychiatric course, never mind, I will deal with my family members and then no problem. But if you think you have to be perfect and you have to go and go there, then that is where the hook is there. So you have to learn enough for this, your utilities, basic needs, and all the things. Don't try to go for perfection, or theoretical maximum of the luxuries, or theoretical maximum of the mental health. This is enough to start with. So that is the Buddhist terminology, Santutto hoti itaritara chivarena. Santutto hoti itaritara piddapate. You must be contented with whatever the robes you are going to get, contented with whatever the food you are going to get, contented with whatever the dwelling you are going to get as monks are concerned. And if you can assimilate the same for lay life also, then less and less traps are there. Otherwise, you don't know what is the agenda. Who is fixing the agenda? We don't know.
How can you be content if you are not content?
How can?
How can you practice being content if you are, for example, not content? And if you have your reasons.
No, not contentment is the first and foremost truth Buddha is telling, dukkha satcha. But to accept the dukkha as a lack of vacuum, the lack of, never it can be appeased. That is the first truth Buddha says, accept it. Contentment never can be achieved in this earth, on this earth, as far as the materiality is concerned. So therefore it's a general fact.
You have to live with it.
You have to live up to that. It is your second nature. That is why the friction is. That is why the unsatisfactoriness is. That is why the vacuum is. So that is why we are living. That is why the creativity. That is why this productivity. So you accept it. You are not hating it.
But then you cannot develop yourself. If you are content, for example...
sorry that I am disturbing. Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, okay, materiality is one thing, but for example, if you practice Dhamma and you're not content, then you want more in the sense not tanha but chanda.
Yeah.
You want development, spiritual development. It is a moving power. But if you're content, then you stop practicing probably. You say, okay, so I'm content, everything is okay with me, I don't want to go further.
Explain the materialistic contentment and immaterialistic contentment, two things. At the place Buddha says, Santutto itaritara chivarena, as far as matter is concerned. And as far as the spirituality is concerned, asantutta appativani. Don't look back and go forward. Don't be happy unless you become arahant.
Right.
You see, same word using for two paradigms. Materialistic paradigm, learn how to say enough. But the spiritual achievement is never stop unless you go to the end. So therefore the words you have to see, go into the context. Otherwise you may fight telling that Buddha have double words. But it is context as well. Material is concerned, you must learn how to say enough. But otherwise, you have to say, till I become arahant or become top class, I will strive, keep on. That is appreciated by the Buddha.
So I have a question. Now, a lot of scientists, when talking about thoughts, they debate whether there was first experience or whether there was first imagination. And experience-wise, a lot of people argue that every thought is based on what you have experienced before. So everything what originates is some sort of combinations of different experiences. And then other people argue that there has to be something apart from experience because there's, for instance, innovation. So how can there be an innovative mind if there is no imagination? But then, I would say a rational mind would say that everything is based on experience. But then how come that there are actually people, also like Sigmund Freud, who can, apart from the experience, think of something so new and innovative?
So I have to introduce the two terms, concept and reality. The concept means that is just came out mentally. The reality is something you can prove out of your experience or something like that. So that is why I told that if you have time, you just read the Concept and Reality by Venerable Jnanananda. That's the best book for the subject. And it says that everything starts as a concept. And when you are brooding upon that, ultimately you believe yourself, and then it appears like a reality, and then you safeguard it, you get committed. Ultimately that very reality will kill you. Because you, by that time you don't believe it as a concept, you believe it as a reality. That is the way it happened by frequent association, and that is how the habit forming thing. And that is the one shades of meaning for the sankhara, formations. Formation means that once you have habituated to one thing, you start to believe it. Start with the concept. And before that book, Sarachandra told, early Buddhists taught of concept. And it is a very nice original work, and from that this Concept and Reality came. And the Buddhist way of explaining this is the making use the term papancha, that is mental proliferation. Papancha is very difficult to put into words, but when Jnanananda has taken mental proliferations, so it starts as a mental proliferation concept, and out of the whole concept you make, the Charles Darwin will say it's a natural selection, or the believers of God will say it's a will of the God. You pick some of them, and then brooding upon. And what decides what you select is completely by chance. Whether it's a natural selection of God will, or your liking or disliking, it's Buddha says it is no ungovernable. But out of the whole company you select one or two and brood upon them, and ultimately it becomes a reality for you. And then onward vehemently you are telling other people also, I am telling with my direct experience. It is not a concept, it is a reality. The other person will say, you are mad. You start with the concept and it became a reality because of your overwhelming association with it. That is called the mental proliferation.
But then Buddha's thoughts were not based on a concept. Buddha's thoughts never encourage you to develop thoughts. He says to encourage observation and direct touch. Thought is a poison for meditation. No, but I mean is, before he was enlightened, that thought was not a thought that originated from an experience, because nobody before that told him that.
Yeah, that is a blink. That's a blink. Even after he practiced on the Alarkalama Uttakarama Putra, still he found, I have not touched the bedrock. I have been very successful, but I have to go there. So that is, it never happened to you and me.
That's right, yeah. We wouldn't have a Buddha today.
No.
We wouldn't have a Buddha.
And that's the Buddha says it is happening very, very rarely, and you are lucky to born under that light of that.
Yeah.
So it is, it's in there's one book called as Blink, and there he says, blinks are happening for everyone, but everyone is not picking the property.
He said it like that?
Yes, yes. Blinks are 1,001 in everyone's. But the picking, Varana Avasoshan, that's picking the proper thing, it's a luck by chance. The God, believing people say it's a will of the God.
So I want to go a little deeper. The Buddha said, the blinks are happening to everybody.
Not the Buddha, I am saying the blink, the book. And he tried to explain the blinks are happening everywhere. The very particular picking decides your future.
Yes, that's right.
It's a coincidence. But I can't find exactly reference in the canon. But when you read the Concept and Reality, you see, yes.
I heard the first thought is I.
No, it says first thought is without I. If you are going to repeat the same thought again and again, second thought onward, that's why the first apprehension, second reification. Reification onward, I, the concept, the conceit and the desire going to happen. The very first impression is very pure. Upon that, if you happen to dwell upon the same thing again, that is the by chance, then onward only your liking, disliking, your personality, everything come into being. So therefore, if you are sharp enough to see even the first glimpse, it is theoretically impossible, then you will understand the beginning of each stream of thoughts is pure. By dwelling upon the same thing, it becomes acclimatized, or it becomes infested with your liking and disliking, your personality, your desire, everything comes into. So therefore, if you can go from the hard and fast thought to the beginning, you can understand, whenever you go to the beginning, you can hit it at the bud level, least damage. More it becomes mature and come into the shape, whatever may be the method you are going to do, it will never be under control. You gather the momentum. That becomes a habitual. It becomes fixed with your ego.
There's a great moment that the Buddha jumped that hurdle. Otherwise
we can't comprehend it.
No?
We can't comprehend it. We have to say it's a luck. Yeah. And not only that, for me, that we selected this as the correct path, also a blink. Otherwise, even the Buddha appeared in the world, everyone is not following him.
Yes, that's right.
Majority not.
Yeah.
And first 5 months when the Buddha go and preach the first Dhamma sermon, they refused. At the beginning they refused. Who are you to tell us that we are all equal people? That is the way they refused.
What is a blink? Is that like an accident or like
we can say accident. So sometimes there is giss or blink.
Sparks or...
Yeah, some sparks.
So it's just random what happens.
Yes. And whenever the random happens, that individual picks some certain things according to their likings and dislikings that no one can express. But the proximate cause for you to pick it, he to not to pick it, that very difficult to predict.
If Buddha was satisfied or Neva Sanya, Niya Sanya, this is good, and he wouldn't have gone, then no Buddha.
We are lost.
Would you say doing and happening, between doing and happening is a difference?
Yes. The doing that you're committing, and you have to get the consequences, you can't deny. Whatever the happening, the Buddha says, no consequences. Your commitment is not there. No your volition, no your will, no your motivation. Things are happening. So, whenever you are defining the sankhara, or mental formation, whatever happened to the will, volition and motivation is falling into the sankhara group, the doings. What is happening, what happens to you is out of sankhara. It will never cause any suffering for you. By meditating upon them, you go nowhere. So therefore, looking and seeing, listening and hearing, and the active voice and the passive voice, it's a very big issue as far as the sankhara is concerned.
So, 1 minute. How can a meditator, now active can grasp, you can get it. How can you get to the passive mind sort of?
By choiceless awareness.
But that's the way to...
That is the way.
Only way there you can go there.
Choiceless awareness or evenly suspended attention, when it is happening or it is doing, you are not going to make past judgment. You are not reacting. You are not assuming. You see, this is something happened, this is something I do. So you try to keep the equal attitude, equal attention, equal diligence to both.
The paradox is, say, I smoke, right? And then you say, sir, don't come here with this smoking. I have been telling you 10 years. I want to stop smoking. But I am unable to stop. I very genuinely want to stop smoking. So, pulling the cigarette is active. But the guy who gives the order, smoke, is the passive. Now, how can I go there and do an operation and say, get the hell out of it?
So, I don't know whether you have...
The willpower is weak.
You have heard about Rajanish, Osho?
Oh, yeah.
Osho says, if the Buddha can be a Buddha by observing the in-breath and out-breath, why can't you become a Buddha by smoking? Don't react.
Don't react.
Don't react.
And when you are doing the smoking, be fully aware, you have to be fully mindful. This is the beginning, this is the peak. You bring the cigarette and keep it there. And he says, next thing, if you wish to be aware of the smoking, go to a complete dark place and smoke, you won't get the kick. Because smoke is coming, we are in the open air and a lot of girls right around puffing and you become someone. But if you go to a dark and silent place and smoke, you will never continue.
So how to get to that passive mind, that's because I feel...
That is the way, the mindfulness, when you are defining it says, you must be alert, you must be vigilant, you must be diligent as and when it happens. But it is passive or active no matter. So that means you close your eyes maybe, sitting, and let everything happen. Don't try to manipulate, don't try to regiment yourself, and everything happen without any discrimination or choicelessly, you be aware. But at least I am telling, at least our morality won't allow us to do it. Because our morality is colored. We say, this is not to happen, this is to happen, therefore, morality jumps forward and says, no, I can't allow everything to happen, I have this screening. This is good, this is bad. That is the way our value judgments, our traits, is jumping. So, still the Buddha says, be aware, that is kind of conditioning, that is kind of upbringing. So that is also, it's deep, it's very subtle. That you, by mindfulness one day you will understand, you have premeditated value system, even for the happenings. Leave aside the doings. Doings, of course, it is has to go to this moral screen, but the happenings also. So that is why we are unwantedly brooding unsatisfactoriness, brooding the disheartened, and accusing ourselves for even trivial things, and continuously think it is my moral responsibility to brood upon my own mistakes.
That courage one has to develop, no?
So I can't exactly remember, there's a very nice sutta, it is called Shankar. I can't remember. And last time also I tried to explain it. Please follow it's going to give a sense. When the Buddha is having a discussion in the open air, there's another a disciple from another guru come, and Buddha is cordially inviting him and asking, does your teacher also give any guidelines regarding the morality? Then he says, yes. We are so happy, would you mind to explain it? He says, my teacher says, don't kill. If you are going to kill, you are destined to the hell or nether. And more you are going to do the killing business, that will decide your final destiny. Don't steal. And if you are going to steal, you will be destined to the hell. Whatever the thing you are doing repetitively, get more gathering power. Likewise, he says all the 5 precepts. And then the Buddha says to Venerable Ananda, and in that sense, no one will go to the hell. Because very rarely only we kill. We are not all the time killing. Very rarely only we rob. It happening or doing. Or sexual misconduct, therefore that if someone is doing again and again, if it is going to destroy the hell, we are simply innocent. So I don't know. No one will go to hell on that principle. Then the other person accepts the defeat and he collapses. Then the Buddha says, Ananda, listen, once in a way, very rarely Buddha emerged, and he also gave kind of a noble moral code. He says, don't kill. If you kill, you accumulate in this kind of thing. Instead, try to develop loving kindness, knowing the consequences. And the second thing is don't steal, and knowing that the consequences, try to share with others. And then he says, I accept I have done something wrong, killing or something. Instead of killing, instead of self-cursing, he tried to develop loving kindness. Instead of the robbery he has done, now he is trying his best to give some donations. And for the sexual misconduct, he will protect everyone's rights. Likewise, one day, he will develop, forgetting about his past, forgive and forget, instead develop metta bhavana or loving kindness. One day he will pervade full metta to the whole world, and he will never commit again the same mistake. Such a day, he will compensate his wrong things, and it will be time to go. Therefore, Buddha is never put you into the hell permanently. He is telling about this moral conduct to give you a chance to develop metta bhavana. He will tell you the grave consequence of the robbery in order to develop your sharing capacity, not destructive. And there you can understand the shades of meaning, how much we are brooding upon our own mistakes, and to stress it, he says, if another mind you, if someone is following what he is telling, if I have killed, if I am brooding again and again, I am telling he is definitely destined to hell. Because of brooding. He has done it once, but again and again telling, I am so bad, I am so unlucky, I have done kind of thing. That very brooding or the resonance of the same mistakes, if you are going to appreciate again and again, it is almost like killing. Instead, take the opposite. Develop a mindfulness, loving kindness, and be happy that I have developed loving kindness. Of course, I have done some mistakes, but I know the consequences. Now mind is with the better side, and then you have a chance to erase it off, that the grave mistakes you have done. So that is the way Buddha give the creativity or the productivity or the positive thinking. That means that you have done bad thing, but it is not making a permanent damage to you. You can compensate it, and that is the technique, that is the patipada. Therefore, no one in the world we can say, we are perfect, we are reckless. Instead, you have to understand, every one of us have certain amount of doings, it is, we can say, misdeeds, and you have to forgive and forget, and mindfulness is there, loving kindness is there, generosity is there, and take something that you feel more appealing and do it in an incessant way. Ultimately, you will come to the point, you can look at your past and say, due to this past only I became a good man, I became a gentle man, and the past, the bad thing will give you a point to reconsider your whole life. Yes?
Okay, when does killing start? When I eat a tomato, I kill the tomato. I'm vegetarian, I'm killing the plant.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, that is why that Venerable Jnanaponika is asking, tell me please what is the wholesome food in the world. Anything you can do without disturbing the society or disturbing the environment or disturbing the fauna? Nothing in the world. He has written very, very bright essay. You know Venerable Jnanaponika? That German monk who started the Buddhist Publication Society for nutriments. Now it has translated to Sinhala also. That book must be here. We better read it. In this world, nothing wholesome. Even the vegetarianism, how much of chemicals and how much of disturbing of the soil and kind of thing. So therefore, you can't escape telling that I am vegetarian, so therefore I am innocent and all the kind of thing. I think vegetarians are more talkative. More talkative. I am also vegetarian. I am also vegetarian for last 30 years. But my teacher in the Burma, he told, you can be a vegetarian but don't profess it.
There is a very nice joke about it. Someone was asked, are you vegetarian because you like animals? And he said, no, because I hate plants.
Yeah, you eat it. So these are the ways we try to twist the truth and make yourself amused. But the truth is very grey. It is very profound. So therefore you have to see things as they are. Don't try to dwell upon concepts.
Then on the concept and reality is tough to read.
Classic.
Huh? No, it's good. is good, but tough to read and understand for us is difficult.
Someone asked him to translate, he translated part and parcel in the Sinhalese, even in Ibim.
Yeah.
But anyway, that Dhamma is profound.
Yeah.
Dhamma is profound. Some parts are there.
No, the concept and reality you can read, but to digest it is you need some sort of understanding.
Before when we talked about blink,
Blink.
Blink.
Yeah.
Why did you say that it happens by chance and not by karma?
That's a good question.
Today I can't verify, I can't justify. The blink is coincidence. Maybe karma, but Buddha says if you are going to say all the coincidences are going to be karma, that is pointing to niyata gatikavada, he vehemently reducing.
So karma, but karma could also
karma could be, according to arithmetic, 25%. Then Buddha says 4 reasons for something to happen: kammaja, chittaja, utuja, aharaja. Karma also 1/4 of it. Other things are climatic, the food you eat and your mental state. These are the 4 things can be attributable.
But then karma is also in a way also random.
Yeah. So otherwise you can say it's a wrath of the God.
So we don't hear all these things now, what you said. Normally, most of these people say, oh, my karma, everything stays, they say 96% or is karma.
It's a very big dustbin. Everything you can put it there. It's a huge, so ultimately you give a good answer and you can sleep well.
It's a good question, because, because generally, when you go through...
You are not telling you the good question, good, not you are telling good answer.
Because the question, the answer came. But the thing is, because first of all, making use of karma all the time, and the other thing is, because when we go through the Buddhist books, we always say, alright, this Buddha was with Kashyapa Buddha, and then he accumulated Sara Sangha Kalpalaksa, Perumpurala. So our focus is more, Perumpuru Bihinda Dhamma Buddha Uni. But then he says these are 4 other reasons,
So that's like that. Simply you have to understand, according to the Buddhist so-called Abhidhamma or commentary exegesis, it says there's nothing in this world happening due to single reason. Everything has multiple reasons. And out of multiple reasons, nothing never gives single cause, single effect. Multiple reasons give multiple effects. Our mind is so accustomed to go for linear method, 1-to-1, therefore we ever fail to understand cause and effect. We wish to understand the cause and effect by 1-to-1 relation, linear method. That is the way our education is. But it happens in the multidimensional way, so therefore you have to understand, you can trace along the one strand, but that does not give the whole picture. It is not representing the profundity of, therefore, it has to keep on practicing, and then only you will understand, as the Buddha says, it is profound.
Because Greece also said cause and effect. They said it, but not this chain of cause and effect. They said one cause, one effect.
Yeah. And that is the way we can cooperate it. But that is not the truth. In the reality, multiple causes due to multiple effects.
So we do not know anything.
I mean, we can understand our limitation at the beginning. But instead of everything, if you can be here and now, the foresight will be increasing, your concentration will come into being. When the concentration comes, Buddha says you can see things as they are. So without the concentration, everything is mental proliferation, partial truth. You can't completely deny it. Partial truth is there. But the way is, dwell upon the present moment, develop the concentration, and then patipakka vigapanena gambirobi dhammo pusupakato bahiye. Whenever the hindrances are gone, you can see, you can foresee. So therefore it's the involved job. Thinking, you can do it for him, or you can do it on contract basis. But this is not, this is fully involved.
Is it measurable how long a thought is until that gap comes?
No. That is what you are going to put it into the time dimension. When you put it into the time dimension, which question comes? But time dimension is yet another concept that you have in your mind. As far as that is there, truth will be covered.
But as long as there is a thought, there is a time dimension.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yes, ego goes with time together.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
So ego happens only with the time and space. When the time and space dissolve, you feel lost. Because your ego lost. That's why you feel listless. You feel bored.
So it's not that she's thinking about how long is this for?
Because of her ego.
Yeah, but I mean, it is necessary to think about it because
I mean, that is fully valid, but you have to understand this is happening with a very limited context. Within a very limited context you can do, but later you can complain, how nice if I can proceed with mindfulness and the concentration, and then this problem never happens. One thing. And the answer comes.
But Swami, I mean, according to our comprehension, like this now, a thought has a duration.
So it has the time and space. Time-space dimension, that is the place thought becomes.
So there's a beginning, a middle and an end.
Yeah.
So it has to be measurable how long it is, can be.
Yeah, that is called thin slicing of time. That is slice the time as thin as possible.
But related to the gap, one thought after, in one day we think 1,000 thoughts. So we have 1,000 gaps. No, isn't it?
That's what I mean.
No, she's asking the quantification of the gap with respect to the thought.
Because we try to concentrate, but the concentration cannot be infinite because the thought has a duration. So that's why I asked how long a thought can be. Because it cannot be infinite.
No, but I say you have a thought and a time limit, and then you jump onto another thought. And between this thought and that thought, is it what is called the gap?
That is the way we can say, but the thoughts are happening as a cognitive series, according to this thing. And the cognitive series have the set pattern. And that means there are a number of in-between gaps also, within a cognitive series itself. And one cognitive series to the other, always it has to go to the head office and come. That is the gap. There is also a kind of a big gap compared to that thought within the cognitive series. So this has tried, but not so far given any kind of quantification.
Okay. Because it wouldn't be a thought if it didn't have a duration.
Yeah, thought is a abnormality. It is turmoil in the time space, and as far as no thoughts are there, time become invalid.
So next is Jit-dakshana or thought moment. That is also describing a time.
It is?
Also describing a time, isn't it? Thought moment.
Yeah, that is the way he put into in a conventional way, the tiniest the thought moment. Just like the particles go to the tiniest part for the moment the scientist has accepted as a matter. Earlier it was a molecule and then the atom and then the particles. So likewise we try to reduce it something, and that comes out of Nichya Sanya. The concept perception of permanence. But the things are not Nichya. It is Anicca. So therefore your Buddha says instead develop the perception regarding impermanence. The reducing it to the one particular block means you try to fix it. Nimitta karana. And object, you try to make it an object. As far as object, that permanent notion is there.
Nimitta karana nimitta means sign, no? Sign, no? Sign, object. But isn't it all signs are made by the mind?
Yeah.
All thoughts and all feelings are illusions, is that right? Or is
thoughts and feelings?
Possible with some
illusions.
Illusions. Is it possible, for instance, for fear, no?
Yeah.
So there are two types of fear. One fear gives you maybe a warning that you're losing your path. Is something like that existing?
So as far as
to find your real path?
As far as the evolution is concerned, some thoughts, it is leading you for the natural selection. Some things are destructive. So that is accepting there is a being, there is a samsara as conventional way. But if there is from the deep sense of the Buddhism, if there is no being as such, anatta, or that no soul, so then very difficult to put this into that picture, the absolute picture. But as far as the being is concerned, there are some the fear constructive. Some of them are destructive. That is how
decide what is constructive.
That is what I try to refer. There is one book known as Destructive Emotions, written by Goldman, and they are discussing with Dalai Lama and Richard Davidson and kind of thing. That very fear going to be alarm, still not decided whether it is good or bad. After it comes out to a certain momentum only, it becomes either destructive or constructive. So therefore very difficult to measure, even for oneself, leave aside someone else's fear. So therefore they are the one Dalai Lama suggested, Richard Davidson and others too, if possible to measure, if possible to quantify it with the live brain scanning and kind of thing. When is the fear become destructive and constructive? It's a kind of an energy. That energy can be benevolent or malevolent. Early part, undecided. After a certain level, it becomes beyond control, it becomes malevolent. And they found, even the Dalai Lama found, to find a Pali term for emotions. There is no equivalent.
But your first thought, Dhamma, you said Abhaya. The Abhaya Dhamma. So when there's fear existing, you can only give the Abhaya Dhamma, no?
So Abhaya Dhamma is the appeasement.
Peaceful, yeah. So if I have fear and I'm going in the dark and so you come or somebody come and take my fear away because of your,
you give a light or you can come have a companion.
Yeah.
So that is the way you can compensate it.
So that means friendship, no?
Mutual help.
Mutual help. I think the Buddhist is that mutual help is highly made in all the talks of Buddha, all the sermons.
But if it is a bad thing, bad association, equally bad.
Equally bad. But that is corrupted mind, no?
Yeah, that is called that Naham Bhikkave Anyang Ekadammapava Samanupassami Yadidam Pavamitata. If you have a wrong friend or wrong companion, it's so destructive. Whatever the parents, whatever the background you are, due to the association, it can ruin you. Just like a noble friend, ignoble friend can do the opposite.
But that Abhaya is a real dana, no?
Abhaya dana. Well, that is what Buddha's recommendation.
That's a gift. Abhaya dana means a gift to take fear away from another person. It's a very lucrative way, you know. Not many books you have that. To do something. So that's a gift. That's a donation to somebody to take fear out of the person. See, if I have fear, you will do something so that my fear goes away. But it can have many aspects.
In American terms, it says good vibes.
Good vibes.
Good vibration.
Good vibration.
Good vibe.
That's also true.
As a vibe. Good vibe.
In which sense did Buddha use the word empty, and what is the difference to emptiness. I think, or I read, that emptiness is, was heißt der Begriff? Yes, in the Mahayana.
The Mogaraja Suttas, Sunyata Lokam Avikanto Machuraja Anapasati, he says, if you can see this world as illusion and the empty, the Mara, the devil, not the devil, how do you call it, the evil, will not see it, it can't look at you, it can't catch you. So if you take this is firm and solid and kind of thing, you become adamant and you become arrogant, and ultimately the jealousy, the craving and everything happens. So take it, don't take it as so serious, take it as just like a dream or just like a mirage. That is the way the Buddha says, as far as the materiality is concerned, they take it as sunya, or it's a less value, no much of such a hard and fast attributions. It's no much of value, and that is also, the Buddha says, a relative meaning, not absolute emptiness. It's a relative meaning. And then you have enough time to think about immaterial pleasure. If you take the material pleasure as the substantial, full 100%, you have no chance, you have no any opportunity to think and test about the immaterial pleasure. And if you take this is yes, but this is not so substantial, it is part and parcel, and then you have another opening, window opening to immaterial pleasure, and then only you can go the avedaita sukha, that unperceivable kind of pleasure. So therefore, the message is, material world is yes, but don't be so obsessed with it. So be obsessed with it. And if it is so, you have no chance to meditate. You have no chance to think about spirituality, religious aspect. So take it in the due place. Don't over-exaggerate. In that sense, it is called sunya, empty.
So, Master, someone who has attained Nibbana and who has basically observed the gap between the thoughts, he can stop or prevent the thought from originating, right? So, if someone who has attained Nibbana opens his eyes, can he open his eyes and not see anything?
No, the Buddha says, he can see the things just like a blind person. No reaction.
What I mean is, if I look at something, then there's always a reciprocity of the thoughts. But if I can prevent the thought from originating, I would basically open my eyes and not see it.
No, that is not the way. I am not going to give the absolute answer, but giving nearing to the truth. He says, for an undeveloped mind, untrained mind, for example, the male see a female, it may be a lustful. And he can't prevent it, because soon he sees it, because his imagination, everything, that female has been lustful, so therefore it appears like a uppajjati manapa. He sees how nice if I can get a stamp and enlarge it, put it in my wall, and see again and again, like thoughts are rising. Male to female, female to female. And you see a dead carcass of a dog on the road, he says the town council is doing nothing, take only taxes, and it will have removed it before I come. It's not nice. It's a bad omen. Like whenever you see that carcass, you have definitely that set pattern of reaction, and you develop the unpleasant. But instead you see in the summer season a green leaf, it won't make any sense for you. So much of green leaves, and you see it, but it won't make any impingement in your mind. So therefore, the untrained mind, the object decides coloration of the mind. But the Arahant, the Buddha says, even if he sees the lustful object, he understands its consequences and the disadvantage, so he can develop the loathsomeness or repulsivity of the lustful operation, because his mind is trained. Object is not deciding coloration. And he sees a carcass. And still he sees it's a good thing to understand the impermanent nature, the suffering nature. So he takes it as an object of meditation. And whenever he sees a the green leaf waving on the wind, he says, this is good, because it won't make any turmoil in my mind. So therefore, he take it as a good or bad. So therefore, difference between is, the Arahant, whatever may be the object, he is in the commanding position of the impression of the object. But the untrained mind, you are succumb to the situation, you are in the set pattern. So you are slave. Arahant is a master. It is called the miracle of the Arahant mind. Not that he is not seen, but he is not bounded, he is not stereotyped with particular impression. He can take the beauty out of the loathsomeness, or loathsomeness out of the beauty, or neutral thing as neutral.
So he sees with no validation.
That means non-judgmental. He is free. 3 options are there, as you like. But if you are trained, untrained, you can't escape. Your mind is definitely going to get, and predictably you succumb to the situation.
But now she wants to become the master.
Pardon me?
Now she wants to become, after your answer, she wants to, she's seeking for being the master.
So you have to lose your ego.
You can be master after losing the ego. You can be the master after losing the ego. So Buddha was a master.
And you have to forego your conceit. You have to forego your desire to ask question again and again. But I am not discouraging you to ask question. Yes.
There's a room right next door. There's a picture of the stupa. On the left part of the stupa, there's shown the 8 jhanas. On the right side, the path of the inside, both leading to Nibbana. Yeah. And now there are some teachers say you have to go to jhana. It's very important, and you never even meditated until getting to the jhanas, like Ayya Khema, for example. Yeah. Other teachers say jhanas are more a hindrance because you can cling on it. If you reach jhanas and have a good feeling in it, you always want to get back to the jhanas to have this feeling, so you can't develop your mindfulness. So what do you think is the correct way? Is it both paths, you should train both paths together? Or doesn't it matter? It's your own choice what you want to do? Or?
So this is a very age-old question, and there are age-old answers also. And one thing is, if a person is living in, we'll say this is a river, one person is living in this part, it's a different regime, the other part is different regime. He has been accused wrongly, so that king is chasing behind him to catch him and kill him. So therefore he is running to escape from this regime, but he confronts with the river, so he has to immediately make a decision, because other regime he is safe. Under such circumstances, seeing such a big water body, he is at another risk now, because he is not a good swimmer. So he has option. One thing is, he has to find a lock and make a temporary raft and then jump into the water with the raft. But it takes little time or to find here and there, but the king's messengers are chasing behind him. Or otherwise he can just jump into the water telling, whatever may be, come or go Chicago, he jumped. And then these two are concerned. Person who is waiting and making a raft is like a concentration type people. The person jump out of risk and go there, it's just a vipassana person. So therefore, it depends circumstances. That is one part. The other one is, for my understanding, you have no rights to decide which part. Because you don't know, there is no machine in the world innovated yet to ask to say whether you are on this path or that path. But anyway, it is engraved in your personality trait. So what in order to give a practical answer is, I ask just to pay attention to your breath and see
when you are mastering the breath, if you only see the incoming and outgoing air column, then you are entering into the stream of meditation. While you are practicing, if you can see the touching point of the breath, if you can feel the heat, cold, stiffness, tension, that indicates you have the inclination to the vipassana. But if you are happy and contented with only the breath, still the concentration is developing, mindfulness developing, that indicates you are samatha type. So you can't decide it. There is something happening. So therefore, it is a theoretical question. The practical answer is, if you are keeping the mindfulness as the forerunner, this question will never arise. If you keep the concentration as the forerunner, then the problem arises.
So that means I just sit and meditate and see what will happen.
And that you have to talk with the experienced master, and he may help you to get a good interpretation. It is not 100% sure. But anyway, it is not waste. You are not wasting the time because you are gathering the mindfulness. So the joke is, last time when I go to the visa interview in the Canada, and the people inviting me to, he is a senior monk, he should not go to the embassy, and all the kind. But anyway, they told, if you wish visa, come on that day, interview there. So I went there. And you see the bulletproof glass behind the Canadian, I am here. He's asking why you are going to Canada. Then I told I am going to visit Buddhist temples. But anyway, in the indication it says that you are going to conduct some retreats also. Then if they ask, I will discuss and do it, but I am not a professional, I am not going to charge anything like that. Are you a master? Some people call like that, but I am meditating. Then he is asking, if you are a master, when you are going to decide to convert into vipassana? Now this is visa business. He is asking how long you have to practice before going to the vipassana. Then I told, I am sorry, you have to practice under me for 7 days. 3rd day onward, I can tell you whether you are vipassana or something. Being behind the bulletproof glass, I can't tell you. Then he told, why you are telling that? Then I told, that is, you have to check with your practice. Some people start directly with vipassana, some people start sometimes vipassana, so therefore it's an open issue and there is no measurement. There is no yardstick to measure. Okay, then he was happy. Then he's asking, being a Buddhist monk, do you have moral responsibilities or precepts? Yes. At least. And then he asked, what are the meaning of 5 precepts? Then I said, not to kill, not to steal, not to have a verbal misconduct, verbal misbehavior, and all the kind of thing. You are telling not a verbal misbehavior, but you are not telling specifically about lying. Then I told, in the 5 precepts, lying has been there, but it indicates slandering, harsh words, and all the kind of thing. When put in together, he says, verbal misbehavior. Do you believe or do you adhere the lying, not to lie? Then I go, of course, yes. Will you go there and come back to Sri Lanka? Then I told, I am very busy. They asked you 1 month to be there, but I reduced to 2 weeks, so therefore definitely I have to come back. Then, by the time, of course, visa has been already prepared. The passport with him. But you ask the question, when to return from Vipassana to Samatha and Samatha to Vipassana, he was in Canadian embassy.
That's good actually,
he would have some kind of acquaintance in this kind of thing. Second time when I go last time, they paid back my fees, telling me it's not losing money. They refunded the charges. So the answer to this question is,
That is what I keep all the time. I never emphasize on the concentration as such. I call this whole retreat to develop mindfulness. But then you are going to the bifold path, and mindfulness itself will decide whether to go to the samatha way or vipassana way. And then no repercussion, no friction arises. But if you are going to make a decision, then it is challenging. Maybe wrong. Even the teacher can't decide. So best thing is to keep it open, and as far as you are developing mindfulness, it is ever gaining towards the three things as they are.
So in most retreats, teachers train metta and vipassana.
That means two metta. Metta is to the samatha meditation, and vipassana is for the insight meditation. So these two, at the beginning appear like contradictory, but when you go to the end, top of your Torana, these things exactly the same. The top-bottom view, same. Bottom-top view, contradiction or contrast.
But it seems to be a contrast, but it's not really a contrast.
So that is why the one master I see, Achancha, the Thai master, he never sees the difference. He says both are the same. With the Samatha or Vipassana, he says this is just a mind-made difference. You just be contemplating, you just be mindful, and if you decide whether to Samatha or Vipassana, whatever may be, you are gaining. You are gaining the ground towards the things as they are, reality as they are.
So it's not a dead-end road, the samatha?
No, before the Buddha, it was like that. People told this is all the human can do, rest is up to the omnipotent, omnipresent God after the death. But the Buddha to be challenged that idea. Then he thought, after developing this much of concentration, still you can ponder deep into see the underlying tendencies, and that is human mind can do. But he was so beautiful, after the enlightenment, he never refused samatha method. He told it is part and parcel. You can, it's a great achievement if you can do away with these hindrances. I mean, you are open for this immaterial pressure. It is a rare thing. But don't think this as the end. You use it as a tool to go further.
So after he became Buddha, did he say what was the reasons why he was not satisfied with samatha? Or?
So it is King Satchakavesi. I knew I have not confronted with the truth. King Satchakavesi, that is the term. I was really in pursuit of searching the truth. That's why he says, he said goodbye to the Alarkala. But appreciated, he considered them as a good teachers.
But that's not enough, though, sir, for me. He said, when he became Buddha, he said, King Satchakavesi.
King Satchakavesi, what's the truth? Satchakavesi. Satcha means truth.
Yeah, truth. Yeah.
Kavesi means pursuit.
Yeah, pursuit.
King means what? What is the truth? Oh, King's Kushala Kavesi. What is the skillfulness? It's a last sharpening of your knife. After preparing everything, you have to really, on the whetstone, you have to apply very lightly to get the edge. Sharpening.
He knew that. Even at the 4 years, he took 4 years for that.
6 years. Duskara Kriya.
Within the first 2-3 months, he finished.
Yes, very quickly he mastered Alar Kala and Dukan. That's why they told him to take the apprenticeship or take the assistant teacher post and share the people. But he told, thank you very much, no, my perspective is different. He left. And the beautiful story is that same thing happened with Sariputta and Mokkallana, Upatissa Kolita, and they were with the Sanjaya, and they were not happy. And they went to the Buddha, and then he, out of compassion, went to the Sanjaya and told, dear master, we were happy with you, and we went up to the mastery of the Veda, this thing, But later we found the real master and we caught him. Why don't you come here? He told, you asked me to become a disciple? I am a master. How can I become a disciple again in front of others? Then he says, no, this one is the Buddha, what telling is real wise. Only wise people can understand. I hope you can do it. Then he says, okay, for your understanding, majority of the people in the world are wise or not? Then Venerable Sariputta Moggallana told, very decent people are wise. So let the Buddha to handle this minority, I will handle the majority. Exactly he mentioned. So I will get enough disciples. You see? Even of course their disciples are coming and telling, and they are telling about the master. But he was not happy. Because once you become master, you will not again be happy to be a disciple. So it is a trap. Okay, now
okay.
Thank you. Yeah, so thank you very much for participating.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.